The station buzzes with restless energy. Announcements echo through the high ceiling, sharp and metallic, bouncing against the worn tiles. The smell of coffee and fried food drifts from the cafe near the corner, mixing with the damp scent of rain-soaked coats. People hurry past, dragging suitcases, clutching tickets, checking watches. Everyone has somewhere to be, except her. Emily sits on a cold metal bench, hunched over, pulling her thin coat tighter around her shoulders. Her shoes are worn, soles nearly splitting, toes damp from the puddles outside. She presses her arms across her stomach, trying to silence the hollow growl inside. Her last meal was yesterday afternoon, and even then, it was nothing more than half a sandwich saved from a friend. She opens her wallet again, though she already knows what's inside. One bill, $10, faded, wrinkled, folded so many times it's become soft around the edges. That's it, the last tether between her and hunger. $10 isn't much, but it means warmth. It means a hot coffee from the cafe, maybe a pastry too. It means she doesn't have to go to sleep with the ache in her stomach gnawing her awake. Her eyes fix on the glowing sign above the cafe doors. She can almost taste the steam of fresh coffee, feel the heat filling her chest, the buttery crumble of a roll in her hands. She's already planning it. Hand over the bill, count the change carefully, eat slowly, make it last. That's how she'll get through the night. But just as she rises, clutching the wallet in her fist, a sound cuts through the air. A man's voice, rough, urgent. Please, I just need $10 more. Emily turns. A man in his 50s stands at the ticket counter, drenched from the rain, his gray hair plastered against his forehead. He wears a worn coat, unbuttoned, dripping onto the floor. His hands tremble as he fumbles through his pockets, pulling out coins, receipts, anything that looks like money. The clerk shakes her head, impatient, already glancing at the clock above her. The man's desperation sharpens, his voice cracks. If I miss this train, I don't know what I'll do. Please. The clerk shrugs, unmoved, and pushes his belongings back across the counter. Around them, travelers shuffle uncomfortably, but no one steps forward. People avert their eyes, pretending not to hear, pretending not to care. Emily's chest tightens. She feels the weight of her wallet in her palm, that fragile, crumpled bill pressing against the leather. Her stomach growls again, a reminder of what she stands to lose. Yet her eyes lock on the man's face, and for a moment she sees herself reflected there, tired, worn down, invisible in a crowd that doesn't want to notice. The cafe sign glows in the corner of her vision, warm and inviting. The man's trembling hand grips the counter. The seconds drag, heavy and relentless, as the announcement rings out. Last call for the 9:45 train. Emily doesn't move. Her breath quickens. $10. One choice. The difference between comfort and emptiness. Between her hunger and his chance, the station clock ticks louder than the crowd, its red second hand slicing through the air like a warning. Emily's heart beats in rhythm with it, each tick reminding her that the train is slipping away, the stranger's chance slipping with it. Her fingers curl around the wallet in her lap, knuckles white, the $10 bill trapped like a prisoner inside. She looks again at the man. His voice has softened into something raw, almost broken, as though each word scrapes its way out of his throat. His eyes are wide, searching the faces around him, begging silently for someone, anyone, to see him. Yet no one moves. A businessman checks his phone. A mother pulls her child closer. A teenager laughs into her headphones, oblivious. Emily feels the burn of indecision. Her body leans forward, then jerks back as if pulled by invisible hands. Hunger snarls at her from the pit of her stomach, reminding her of the cafe, of the warmth she could claim if she just turns away. But another voice, quieter, steadier, whispers inside her, "What if you're his only chance?" The man catches her gaze. For a moment, the chaos of the station falls silent. His eyes lock with hers, and she sees not just desperation but fear, the kind of fear that strips pride from a person, leaving them bare. His lips move without sound, forming the word please. Her chest tightens. She remembers the times she herself asked for help and was met with cold indifference. She remembers the shame of having nothing, the way people looked past her as though she wasn't even there. And now she holds the power to do the same or not. Her hand trembles as she unzips her wallet. The sound is small, almost hidden beneath the echoing station announcements, but to her it feels like thunder. She slips her fingers around the bill, the paper soft from years of circulation, edges frayed. It's more than money, it's safety, it's certainty, it's the last shred of control she has. She swallows hard, rising to her feet. The floor beneath her feels unsteady, every step heavy with conflict. The stranger notices her movement, and his eyes widen, a flicker of hope breaking through the storm of despair on his face. Emily holds out the bill. Her hand shakes, hovering in the air between them. "Here," she says, voice barely more than a whisper. The single word tastes strange on her tongue, heavy and light all at once. The man stares at the bill, then at her. Disbelief floods his expression. "Are you sure?" His voice cracks, and for a moment he seems afraid to reach for it, as if it might vanish before he touches it. Emily nods quickly, though her stomach knots tighter. She doesn't trust her voice to say more. The bill is still trembling in her fingers, waiting for him to take it, waiting for her to let go. The station loudspeaker blares again, final boarding for the 9:45. The clerk has already turned away, disinterested. The man's hand edges closer, slow and uncertain, until it hovers inches from hers. Her breath catches as the weight of choice hangs in the fragile space between their hands. The bill slips from Emily's trembling hand into his. For a heartbeat, it feels unreal, like the moment has frozen in place. His fingers close around it with such force that the veins on his hand rise against his skin. Relief floods across his face so quickly it almost looks like a different man standing there. "Thank you," he whispers, voice rough with something more than gratitude. His eyes linger on hers, holding a weight she can't decipher, before he spins toward the clerk. The ticket is purchased in seconds, his movements frantic, his urgency unrelenting. He doesn't glance back as he rushes through the turnstile, ticket crumpled in one hand, her $10 bill tucked into the other. The gate slams shut behind him with a metallic clank that makes Emily flinch. The platform clock blinks red digits as the train begins to roll forward, its whistle slicing through the station like a knife. She catches sight of the man through the glass, shoving into the crowd, searching for a seat. Then the train lurches, the cars sliding past in streaks of steel and light, until the last one vanishes into the tunnel. Silence follows, broken only by the hum of fluorescent lights and the shuffle of strangers going about their business, as though nothing extraordinary has happened. Emily stands still, her hand hovering where the bill had been moments ago, the skin on her palm tingling with the memory of its absence. Her stomach twists violently. Hunger gnaws, sharper than before, almost mocking. She looks at the cafe once more, its sign now dimmed, the staff pulling down blinds, locking the doors. The opportunity for warmth, for food, for a small moment of comfort, it's gone, stolen by her own choice. She drops back onto the bench, metal cold against her legs. The air feels heavier now, the rain outside still tapping against the glass roof overhead. She pulls her coat tighter, not from chill, but from the hollowness creeping inside her. The man didn't even tell her his name, no promise to repay, no explanation, just a look, a thank you, and then gone. It's as though he dissolved into the night, swallowed by the roar of the departing train. Her mind races, trying to justify the decision. Maybe he was telling the truth, maybe he really needed that train, or maybe he wasn't desperate at all. Maybe it was a trick, a practiced performance played for the gullible. Her stomach growls again, punishing her with doubt. The few remaining passengers filter out of the station until only scattered echoes remain. A janitor pushes a mop across the floor. A homeless man curls up in the far corner, hidden beneath a tattered blanket. Emily glances toward the gates where the stranger disappeared, half expecting him to reappear just as suddenly as he vanished. But the gates remain shut, the tunnel dark, the platform empty. She presses her face into her hands, the ache in her chest heavier than the hunger in her belly, her thoughts circling the same unanswered question. Who was that man, and what has she just given away? The night passes in fragments. Emily drifts in and out of uneasy sleep on the hard station bench, the sound of trains rattling in her dreams, the hunger in her stomach pulling her awake again and again. Every time her eyes open, she hopes for someone to change the weight of regret pressing against her ribs. But the station remains the same, empty, fluorescent lights buzzing, echoes stretching too far in the silence. When morning finally creeps in, the station fills again. The rumble of voices, the drag of suitcases, the crisp steps of commuters all blend into a rush of motion. Emily rises slowly, body stiff, coat wrinkled, hair sticking to her face. She tastes dryness in her mouth, feels the dull ache behind her eyes. She tells herself it's time to go home, even if home only means 4 peeling walls and another day without answers. She's halfway to the doors when the low hum of an engine rolls across the pavement outside. It's smoother, heavier than the rattle of taxis and buses. A sleek black car pulls up to the curb, its surface shining under the pale morning light. The driver's door opens, and out steps a man in a dark tailored suit, his shoes polished, his movements controlled. Emily slows. The sight jolts her, a current running through her nerves. The man looks familiar, but his presence feels different, commanding. He carries himself with certainty, like someone who is used to being noticed, used to being respected. And then she sees him more clearly. The jawline, the gray at his temples, the eyes that had once pleaded with her through the chaos of the station. Her breath catches, it's him, but this isn't the drenched, desperate stranger from last night. This man looks as though he belongs to a different world altogether, one where money isn't begged for but wielded like power. He steps forward with calm precision, scanning the crowd as if searching for someone. Then his gaze lands on her, sharp and certain, and he doesn't look away. "Emily," he says, his voice steady now, not broken, not pleading. It rolls across the space between them like he's said her name 1,000 times before. Her body stiffens. She hasn't told him her name. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. Her chest tightens with confusion and unease. She feels rooted to the floor, unable to step forward, unable to retreat. He approaches, each step deliberate, his eyes locked on hers. I asked around. He continues, as though the explanation is simple. "I had to find you." Emily blinks rapidly, trying to process the words. Her mind runs through possibilities. Had someone at the station told him? Did he follow her through the night? The questions knot tighter in her throat, and still she can't bring herself to speak. He stops only a few feet away, close enough that she can see the faint crease at the corner of his eyes, the faint scent of expensive cologne clinging to his suit. His voice drops lower, softer, almost intimate. "What you did last night, it saved me." The noise of the station fades again, replaced by the pounding of her heartbeat, the sting of her hunger, the blur of confusion as she stares into the face of the man who is no longer a stranger, no longer desperate, no longer anything she thought he was when she gave away her last $10. And she wonders what exactly he means when he says she saved. Emily's throat tightens as the man's words echo through her chest. "You saved me." The phrase loops in her head, impossible to grasp. She stares at him, her lips parting, but still nothing comes out. It doesn't make sense. Saved him. How could $10 save a man who now stands before her wrapped in wealth and certainty? Her eyes flicker over the details. His polished shoes, the crisp cut of his suit, the faint shimmer of a gold watch half, hidden beneath his cuff. Everything about him radiates success. He doesn't look like someone who has ever known desperation, let alone needed a stranger's last crumpled bill to survive. Her voice finally scrapes free. "I don't understand." He exhales slowly, almost as if he's been waiting for her to ask. His expression softens, though his eyes stay fixed on hers with unnerving intensity. "I'm not who you thought I was. I wasn't stranded last night. I wasn't broke. I could have called anyone, had money wired in minutes, ordered a driver to collect me." He pauses, watching the confusion deepen on her face. "But I didn't. I wanted to disappear. I needed to know if kindness still existed when there was nothing to gain." Emily's stomach twists, a wave of disbelief crashing over her. She feels the cold floor beneath her shoes, the stale taste of emptiness in her mouth, the hunger still gnawing at her ribs. $10. That was everything to her, to him. It was nothing. A test. Her jaw tightens. So, it was a game to you. His eyes flash with something sharp, almost wounded, and he shakes his head firmly. No, never a game. A question, yes. A search, maybe, but not a game. He steps closer, lowering his voice. Do you know how many people turned away from me? Dozens. Some looked right at me and still refused. You didn't. You gave when you had nothing to spare. You proved what I had almost stopped believing, that compassion still lives in this world. The words hang between them, heavy and strange. Emily's thoughts tangle in every direction. The memory of the night before plays again, the cafe glowing warm, her stomach rumbling, her hand shaking as she let go of the bill. She thought she was giving to a man on the edge. Instead, she had handed her last hope to someone who already had more than she could ever dream. Her chest heaves, caught between anger and awe. Part of her wants to scream, to demand her sacrifice back, to accuse him of cruelty. Another part feels the gravity of his gaze, the sincerity in his tone, the way he speaks as though she shifted something vast inside him. The station hums around them, footsteps rushing past, announcements booming, but she hears only the silence stretching in the space they share. The man slips a hand inside his jacket, pulling out a slim leather briefcase. He clicks it open with practiced ease, drawing out a single envelope, white and pristine, edges sharp against the dull chaos of the station. He holds it toward her, his fingers steady, his expression unreadable. Because you gave without expecting, I want you to have this. Emily stares at the envelope, her pulse hammering, her hands trembling as the weight of what it might contain presses against her senses. She doesn't reach for it yet, caught in the storm of disbelief, hunger, fear, and the unshakable question of what exactly he is offering her, and why he has chosen to. Emily's breath comes shallow as she stares at the envelope. The man's hand stays outstretched, unwavering, waiting for her to take it. Around them, the station swirls with motion, trains arriving, voices calling, footsteps echoing. But for Emily, the world narrows to this moment. Her fingers twitch at her side. Part of her hesitates, the memory of hunger and regret still burning inside her. Another part pushes forward, drawn by the weight in his eyes, the conviction in his voice. Slowly, almost reluctantly, she lifts her hand and takes the envelope. The paper is thick beneath her fingertips, heavier than she expected. Her pulse thunders in her ears as she breaks the seal. Inside is a check, and the sight steals the air from her lungs. The numbers blur as her vision swims, zeros stretching further than she can count at first glance. More money than she has ever seen, more than she imagined could be written on a single slip of paper. She staggers back a step, knees threatening to give. I can't take this. She whispers, though her voice trembles with disbelief. This isn't real. The man steps closer, his tone steady, calm. It is real, and it's yours. You gave everything when you had nothing. That's the kind of heart that deserves to be lifted, not left behind. Tears sting Emily's eyes, spilling before she can stop them. She clutches the envelope as though it might vanish, as though she might wake and find herself still hungry, still hopeless on the station bench. For so long, her life has been a series of sacrifices without reward, of giving pieces of herself away only to be left empty. Now for the first time the universe has given something back. Her voice breaks. Why me? He smiles faintly, his gaze steady. Because when others turned away, you chose to see me, and that choice revealed who you are. Not everyone would have done it, very few in fact, but you did. Emily's heart pounds with a mixture of fear and wonder. She looks at the check again, the ink shining beneath the fluorescent lights, and feels the possibility it holds pressing into her chest. Rent paid. Food on the table, dreams long buried clawing their way back to life. The man glances toward the waiting car, then back at her. His voice lowers, almost gentle. What you do with it, that's your story now. He adjusts his cuff, nods once, and turns toward the car. The driver opens the door, and without another word, the man slips inside. The car pulls away, tires whispering against wet pavement, leaving only the faint scent of cologne in the air. Emily stands frozen, the envelope pressed to her chest, her tears mixing with a smile she never thought she'd wear. The cafe sign flickers back to life behind her, its glow no longer a cruel reminder of hunger, but a symbol of choice. For the first time in years, she isn't wondering how to survive the night. She's wondering what kind of future she will build. And in the chaos of the morning rush, with trains rattling and voices rising, Emily takes a deep breath and steps forward into a destiny rewritten by the simplest act of kindness.